So today's scripture comes from Daniel chapter 6, and I am going to bounce around because it's so powerful and it's so amazing. I want you to read it for yourself just so that you can grasp all of it in its entirety. So it says, chapter 6, verse 7 says, the administrators and the high officers went to the king and said, give orders that for the next 30 days, anyone who prays to anyone, divine or human, except to you, your majesty, will be thrown into the lion of dens. But when David learned that this law had been signed, he went home and he knelt down as usual in his upstairs room with his windows facing toward Jerusalem. He prayed 3 times a day, just as he had always done, giving thanks to the Lord. So immediately they knew where to find him. So the administrators and the high officials, they went together to Daniel's home and they found him praying and asking God for help. So they then went back to the king to say, this man is praying to someone other than you. He's praying to his God for help. So then after hearing this, verse 14, it says, hearing this, the king was deeply troubled, and he tried to think of a way to save Daniel. He spent the rest of his day looking for a way to get Daniel out of the predicament. Then it goes on to say, this is how powerful it is. I'm so excited. So then it says that the king said to David, the king said to him, may your God, whom you serve so faithfully, rescue you. This is verse 16. So then it goes down and say that a stone was then placed over the mouth, and the king had to seal the stone with his royal seal so none of the nobles could rescue Daniel. Verse 16, it says, the king said to him, may your God, whom you serve so faithfully, rescue you. Verse 18, it says, then the king returned to his palace and he spent the night fasting. This is a king that did not believe in God, right? It says he spent the night fasting. He even refused his usual entertainment and could not sleep at night. He was that troubled. So then verse 19 says, very early the next morning, the king got up and he hurried out to the lion's den. When he got there, he called out in anguish, Daniel, servant of the living God, was your God, whom you serve so faithfully, able to rescue you from the lions? Daniel answered, long live the king. My God sent the angel to shut the mouths of the lions so that they would not harm me, for I have been found innocent in his sight, and I have not wronged you, your majesty. The king was so overjoyed, he ordered Daniel to be lifted, and not one scratch was found on him. Then the king gave orders to arrest the men who have maliciously accused Daniel. He had them thrown in the lion's den with their wives and children, and the lions immediately leaped on them and tore them apart before they even hit the floor of the den. This is so powerful because, one, you have a king that did not believe in God, but he said, I hope that the God whom you serve so faithfully, right? And saying that I don't serve him, but I hope the God that you serve so faithfully rescues you, which means he's seen how faithful, he's seen the Lord's hand on Daniel's life, and he knew by just watching Daniel that there was something amazing about this God that he served. The second thing is that the king was so grieved that he fasted. Like, I'm going to fast that the God whom Daniel served gets him out of this, because I'm just so grieved and troubled because I see the hand that God has on him. And lastly, he saw the miracle for himself. The king went out and said, Daniel, did your God whom you serve rescue you? And he saw the miraculous signs and wonders that God, yes, indeed, God does save. And he did it for Daniel. So this is where it's so amazing. So then it says, then King Darius sent out a message to the people of every race and nation and language throughout the world. Verse 26, it says, peace and prosperity to you. I decree that everyone throughout my kingdom should tremble with fear before the God of Daniel, for he is the living God and he will endure forever. His kingdom would never be destroyed and his rule would never end. He rescues and saves his people. He performs miraculous signs and wonders in heaven and on earth. He has rescued Daniel from the power of the lions And that is all. You have a king professing and proclaiming that I have seen God do signs and wonders. And we shall all fear and tremble at this Lord at Daniel's God, whom he served, for he is truly the living God. So I just pray that every day we could live our life, right? We could live our life through every storm, through every triumph, and that people that do not believe, they see our lives and they see how God rescues us. So may our lives resemble God's hand that's on our life. May the Lord have favor over us. May the people that are watching us see our walk in faith. For many times it's not us preaching the gospel, but it's us living the gospel. People want us to walk the walk, not just talk the talk. So I pray that the non-believers and those that believe but they're just high and cold, that they see what God does and they too can declare and decree that God is a living God, for I have seen him do miracles and he is the living God on earth as in heaven. That is a testimony, that is powerful, and that is the good news.